Hello everyone, I'm starting with the class 9th book, that is Behive, and the chapter number 1 is the fun they had. We'll read the story. This is basically a story, and let's have fun. It's basically a story of future. Currently in lockdown, we are using electronic things and virtual classes. So it's basically so interesting on that topic. The story we shall read is set in future, when books and schools, as well as we know now, them will perhaps not exist. How will children study then? The diagram below may give you some ideas. So guys, if we don't have the all these things like schools and like it so feels so odd, but yeah, we think about the robot like we are doing it now in the lockdown. But yeah, of course we'll see that what happens, how these electronic teachers teach and what they do, that moving e-text is. In pair, discuss three things that will do it. We can do it later. Let's start the chapter. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 17th May 2157, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." This is a story of future as well, but for Margie, she's writing her diary about the past day. Right, so everything I'm suggesting that whenever you write the question answers or anything, just write in future because it's talking about future and currently we're only in 2020 or whenever you're seeing my video, I don't know. Okay, so today, Tommy found a real book, and it was a day when 17 May 2157, next century, like Pardada ji ki Pardad, like yeah. So it was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on a paper, like we have the books, notebooks. So how not was printed in paper. Basically it was a story for them, like old people say. Once what happened that our school was like there were no chairs, no tables, like a grandpas tell us the story. So their grandpas told them a story that there was once a time that the stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages with which were yellow and crinkly, and it was obviously funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. So basically, what she was saying that it's very for us it's very common, but for her it was very surprising that she used to see e-text that just scroll down and just scroll down automatically and doesn't show what has been repeated again. We are lucky to have that. We can scroll back again if we didn't get something right. We can pause the video and we can flip back the video and we can again start the video. So we have many choices. But what to do? This girl Margie have no better choices. She was like, she's telling us that we turn the pages, like she and his friend Tommy turned the pages which were yellow and crinkled. It was a very old book and a very funny to read was that still again on a screen. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it first time. They were very surprised that if we turn back the page, there are words again written on that. Oh my god, it's like, really? The words are again back over there only? Because they can't see the passed away thing again and again in a e-text. And like, gee, said Tommy. The Tommy, she's saying the conversation in the text page that Tommy said, gee, what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. I guess a television screen must have had a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. It's like when you're they said that Tommy said, "Gee, it's a waste. When this book when should be finished would be thrown in the dustbin." But in the system, in their screen, there are millions of books, but when they can't throw it away. Like it feels like we can throw a proper book that when you read, Acha, it's so old book, let's give it to someone, let's read. But can we throw, except deleting it, we'll leave the topic of deletion. Can we throw it? No, no. Same with mine, said Margie. Margie said, yes, it's same with me also. Margie was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. So he was 13. Margie was 11 years old and Tommy was 13 years old. She said, where did you find it? Margie said to the Tommy that, where did you got this book? He said, in my house. He pointed without looking. Like he was busy in reading, so he just, we just went, how many? Yeah, okay. So what it's about? School. Margie was confused. School? What's there to write about a school? I hate school. For them, the school is like a room beside their bedroom in which there are large TV screens and a mechanical teacher who teaches them. Right. So Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head softly and sent for the county inspector. Now Margie is talking about herself that she hated the school and she's hating it more now that day. In that days, that what happened, the mechanical teacher gave her test upon test again and again, test of geography, and she did burst in it. And then her mother sent it to the county inspector. Maybe he's a person who repairs the teacher. He means principal basically that repairs the teachers. Okay. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. Yeah, as I said, he was a person. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple. Great. हमें तो लोग chocolate भी नहीं देते, उसे apple दे दिया था. Chocolate अच्छी लगती है, but apple? Oh, who gives apple? How? In future, how could the apple be? Different shapes. I can't even imagine. Yeah. So let's read it again. So he gave him apple, and then Maggie had hoped that then took the teacher apart. Then वो अपनी teacher को ले गया. Maggie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again. Maggie was, like we pray now. Sometimes the teacher comes to class. Yeah, maybe ma'am must be. Ma'am must take holiday, and ma'am, when we get the news like ma'am is ill, we are such stupid. We behave such stupidly sometimes that we even say कि हाँ ma'am बीमार ही नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. We just don't want to come to school. That's not good to say, but yeah, sometimes speaking we get sometimes foolish a bit. So Monkey had hoped that he couldn't repair it again, but he knew how. All right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Maggie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test paper. It is a given space basically, or a position that, like we know, no, enter your paper. It reflects enter your answer, please, and we enter the answer. So then what happened? She always had to write them out in a punch code. They made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. It's when we give papers, like teachers takes many days to correct every paper. It's like, oh gosh, paper ko jaya. But unke teachers were like, they're like, no time. Okay, you submitted. Okay, your marks are this. Good, great. Wow, how nonsense, but how interesting, right? So look at the one more line. They have to use the punch codes. They were codings. They at that time maybe they were using the codings to make the mechanical teachers understand that she was taught when she was 6 years old. The inspector had smiled after he finished and patted Maggie's head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick." So the inspector got to know that it's not the girl, and he said to the mother, that girl's Maggie's mother, that ma'am, this is not girl's fault. The geography sector was too quick. It was going very quickly. There was some, खींच पिच हो जाती है ना कि it goes too fast. Yeah. So one more thing, if you have noticed that it's written her mother as Mrs. Jones, right? Remember her mother's name. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. And he patted Maggie's head again. Maggie was disappointed. Of course, when ma'am comes to the class, you get disappointed. Yeah. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, "Why wouldn't anyone write about school?" So when she was seeing that it's written, Tommy said to her that, Maggie, it's about the school. So Maggie started thinking, "Acha, this has happened. My screen was hacking, then again it disappointed." And once Tommy's teacher was being sent out for a month because the history sector had been blanked out. So she's like, who? He's like, what do you think? Na, kaun itna bevkoof who writes about a school? Hai na? Tommy looked at her in very superior eyes because it's not the kind of school stupid. As Tommy was reading, so he got to know, and he looked after Maggie that, oh God, how annoying. You are stupid because it's not a kind of schools. This is the old kind of schools that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He added softly, pronouncing the word carefully. Centuries ago. It was like he was telling to Margie that you don't be stupid. It's not our kind of schools. There were old kinds of that existed hundreds and hundreds years ago, basically centuries years ago. Margie was hurt. Hurt not mean the chore learner is like, oh, really? Well, I don't know what kind of schools they had all the time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, anyway, they had a teacher. She was very excited to know more about what happened in the school. She don't knows now. So sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. They have mechanical teachers, robotic teachers. So it's very often to get, oh, a man can also teach. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Really? इसमें थोड़ा कम डिफाइन कर रखा है. डांट भी बहुत पड़ती है, punishment भी मिलती है. Yeah, I really forgot to mention about it. So basically, he was telling that he was a man and he used to give the homework and ask the questions and tell them about the topic. Then Maggie was like, a man isn't smart enough. So Tommy said, sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Maggie wasn't prepared to dispute that. Maggie was again she again disagreed that it couldn't be possible. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. It was like, why should I enter? She said, why should I give permission? And I hate a man coming in my house and teaching me alone. Tommy screamed with a laughter. Tommy was quite elder than her. And now when children do, when the youngsters do very stupid talk, so we laugh loudly. So you don't know much, Maggie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing. Sure, if they were the same age. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. She was like, okay, I would like a man to come in my house to teach me. And Tommy was like, no, it's not true. There was a special building where every teacher comes of age and they learn same things if they were of same age. And Maggie said that her mother said that every girl and boy should be taught differently. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. That time Maggie was irritating Tommy. Basically, I could feel he said that that was not the way they did that time. If you don't like that, you must not read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it. Maggie said too quickly. Maggie was very interested in the book, so she was like, "Oh, really? I didn't say that I didn't like it." She wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called. Margie, school. Okay, again, she had her mother called her for the school. The book was not completed. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now said Mrs. Jones. And it probably is time for Tommy too. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. Nonchalantly, not showing much interest or enthusiasm. So being so carelessly, basically. He was not interested in showing Margie because Margie was too lame for him. I feel like, I don't think it's true, or I'm doubtful, but maybe because he showed so carelessly when Margie talks like, oh, okay, do whatever you want to do, like wala feeling. Okay. And then he walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Tucked beneath his arm means na arm ke niche dekh ke chal dete na cheezon ko, that's why. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. Oof, this was same like us only. We also don't have class on Saturday. The mechanical teacher was flashing at the screen. So because her mother said little girls learn better if they learned at regular hours, the screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fraction. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. Margie did so with a sigh. With a very sad mood, like, oh, kar deti chalo. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the school day. They learned the same thing, so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. In short, Maggie was having no interest in what she was studying. She was thinking about how could the old schools, when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy, would be. Okay, and it happens when we think something about anything else, we go to it, right? Now she was thinking that, oh, they would be everyone from the neighborhood will go come and laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, and then they should sit in the classroom together. They would enjoy. At the end of the day, they used to do, and they learn the same thing, so they could help the other one. And the teachers were people, very very annoying, very different thing for her. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen when we add fractions, one upon two, and blah blah blah, so on. Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. Isaac knew. Isaac as I move. So Isaac के बाद हमेशा न्यूटन ही याद आता है because really physics and physics, yeah. So basically, let's come to the poetic thing. So basically, it didn't show full that what have happened after that the school, that how did they read the story again. It like they ended here that when the teacher was reading and the classes were going on, Margie was thinking of the old days that they would have fun. Like we used to think like our parents, wow, yeah, my parents were small, they go to school, they have breaks after their lunch and they can get any time out of the school. They bunk the classes. Sometimes it happened that they comes in the middle of the school home. We also wanted that. She was also wondering of this. So such happens, and here the chapter ends. I will be sharing all the question and answers in the description box and the link of the PDF. The link will be of whole beehive with everything. So till then, I would like to say goodbye. Bye.